Finally.
And
Riven ban first from Manchester.
I'll hide these Twitter tags so that they're not in the way.
That's fine. So we've got Riven ban. Riven very, very strong at the moment. Not just top, but also mid. A little bit of thanks to Bjergsen and some of the Korean highlight reels
Faker.
for that on Reddit and that. But she's been very, very strong. We've seen a lot of pentakill highlights and that from Rivens. Kassadin coming out the other side. If anyone watched Munch's Kassadin last game, then you know how Fadin can be.
I've got to say, one of the best Kassadins in Europe here. Actually, I played that pretty awfully, but I had the most gold on my team, and I thank that to that coin. Definitely a worthwhile pick on ARAM. But we do see a Lucian ban coming in. Obviously, as we have talked about, one of the strongest ADs in the current meta. Really high burst damage.
Blue Bear loves Lucian as well, so I'm not surprised that Manchester are taking that away from him. We see a Zac ban coming out as well. Zac was always a very dominant jungle. I personally love Zac. He's one of my favourite junglers, and I have one of the highest. He's one of the junglers I have the highest percent win ratio on, just because he can go so tanky. He has such good CC. His team fights are amazing. He hasn't been played as much in the last few patches, but still very strong. So Ban took out there, and Evelyn on the other side. Very scary jungler right now.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm amazed we haven't seen either more bans of that or more picks of that, because I mean, I don't know if anyone has seen that Dan Din video that he put on YouTube, but Evelyn is crazy strong right now. She can just walk around the map and pick up kills for free. I have no idea why she hasn't been played in the last couple of games.
Giovanna ban again, not surprised there. Two champions I want to pick, Renekton being one of them, Nidalee being the other. They're both open right now. So very curious to if either of them will get picked up. It looks like Renekton will be. Whenever Renekton isn't banned, you can guarantee he's going to be picked by one of the teams.
Oh, we see the insta-lock there.
From Birmingham.
Yeah. So
they obviously love that lane. As I said, it's my favourite bot lane. Very, very strong. They beat Caitlyn Zyra with it in that first game. A lane that we said on paper isn't an easy lane to win. It's not impossible at all, but it's not an easy lane to win. But they dominated that lane. So insta-lock there from Birmingham. And on the other side, we have Lee Sin been hovered over at the moment as well.
Yeah, interesting pick. We do have the Renekton top. We'll have to see if they do pick a more tanky support, or if they do build sort of tanky on the Lee Sin, as it's quite often much better to have a couple of tanky champions on a team, and Lee Sin often built as a really quite high damage champion. He's going to be swapping to the Nocturne in the end though. And
very, very good jungler, still does a lot of damage right now, and is known for one of the best solo queue junglers alongside Evelyn. Manchester loves Zyra. Another point just to throw out there. Manchester's support is very, very good on Zyra. They used it a lot last tournament. They used it a lot this tournament. Champion, they're very strong with one of their comfort champions for the support. So normally that's sometimes banned away from them, but it's open this game. Birmingham on the other side have locked in that Nidalee that they've been playing so much. And Elise as well, one of their favourites. Yeah, not surprised to see that Nidalee at all. What about you?
Nidalee, like you said, instantly picked. Both Nidalee and Renekton, like you called out, were locked in. Not at all surprised to see the Taric and the Sivir either. I'd say, so far, the only champion that's been picked that isn't a really, really common pick, I'd say, was Nocturne. I mean, Elise is picked in almost every game as well. Such a strong champion, whether it's in the jungle or the top lane or mid, or even support these days. So a really versatile champion that you can kind of just play wherever you want.
Definitely. The Ezreal being hovered over here, I actually feel Ezreal will be quite a good pick against this team. The CC coming out from them so far is quite small, but you've got the Cocoon, you've got the stun from Taric and the spears from Nidalee. They're all skill shots other than the Taric stun. And Ezreal has very good mobility for an AD carry. He can dodge them with his
Arcane Shift.
Arcane Shift, sorry, yes. That's that Kassadin game you contained me with your Rift Walks. But with that Arcane Shift, so that's not quite a smart pickup for Manchester there, and Syndra have been locked in. Manchester play a lot of Syndra in mid as well. Normally they're very, very good with it, so really excited to see that match.
Very, very strong pick, that Syndra. Is going to be going up against the Nidalee, and obviously Nidalee not an all-in champion. She's much more of a poke down and then go for the sort of finish off, whereas Syndra is like the definition of an all-in champion. So I'll be interested to see how this lane goes. I've got to be honest, I think I would probably give the edge of this lane to the Syndra. Obviously, the Syndra having so much burst damage. If she can land a couple of Qs, maybe a W before she goes for the burst and get that stun down, then it's very easy for Syndra to pick up a kill. Her ultimate does deal so much damage, even as you hit level 6. It can deal a massive amount of damage. So I think it's one of the highest base damage ultimates in the game, I believe. I don't know if it's the highest, but it's definitely one of them.
Definitely one of, and that Shen being the last pick for the lock-in. Again, we spoke about this last game, that Shen seems to be a very good pick against the Renekton, just because it forces him to either camp the lane or that Shen's going to get farmed a lot. So it adds, Renekton's there to add pressure, but that Shen adds even more pressure. So a pick that we both liked, and a pick that I think is quite interesting. They don't really have, my only worry is they don't really have a tank to help protect them and to engage if Shen isn't there and is always in that top lane. Taric can be very tanky, but is not always the person that is going to be able to engage. The Elise isn't too bad, but it depends how they build her. So rather than, the Renekton or the Nocturne who has amazing engage, that's the only worry I have. But they've got the Nidalee, they've got the Sivir who have amazing poke, so this shouldn't be too bad. It looks like Birmingham really comfortable with this poke comp.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like they've got quite good disengage for this game. Elise, obviously, having the repel, they've got the cocoon, they've got the Sivir ultimate, they've got Nidalee who can just jump away anyway and throw those spears for sieging. Taric, obviously, can throw the stun. And Shen, with his ultimate, can just be split pushing all game while they siege mid. And it's one of those situations that if Birmingham can put Manchester in the situation where Shen can be up top and force Renekton to stay top with him while the other four do a siege on the mid lane, it's a really hard situation for Manchester because they have to go for the full engage. But they have a Syndra, a Zyra, an Ezreal, and a Nocturne. Now, Nocturne, I assume, will build tanky so that he can initiate those fights, but the other three are very squishy. So if Nidalee can land a couple of spears while they're going for the siege, they're not going to be able to get that engage. And that'll force Renekton to come down to try and start that engage. So they basically have to make the decision whether to lose a top tower or a mid tower.
Definitely, and I think that's going to be Birmingham's objective going into this match. As we saw the last game that we casted, they want someone in top lane that's going to force Renekton to stay there. They had the Kennen last time, and they were against the Kennen last time, but they had the Nidalee who was doing a lot of damage with the spears, and who was forcing their team to back away because they'd be eating 1 or 2 spears and that'd be it. If they fought, they'd die, and that's how they got these objectives so dominantly. The Nidalee and the presence in top lane allowed them to just move around the map, take objectives, push what lanes they wanted to, and it was really well done. If they can execute that tactic the same way against Manchester, who's also known for their teamwork, then I think they're going to have a really strong chance of being able to take this first game.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll have to see how it does go. Obviously, all of this is down to how the players play as well. And I really feel like this is going to be quite a close game because both of these teams have played incredibly well to get to this stage of the tournament. This is the final, the grand final of the whole season. So I'm very excited to see who is going to...
I'm very excited to see if we get into the game this time as well.
Yeah, fingers crossed we actually get into the game. We're currently on a black screen. Can we do it? Come on. I believe in you, client.
Please don't. Oh, for God.
Yes, we're in the loading screen. Yes.
I'm not going to lie, for half a second then I was panicking. But we are in, guys, and you can straight away say these guys are very well practiced. This is your final here for the Null. Manchester versus Birmingham. I'm super hyped. How are you feeling right now, Mitch?
I'm so excited for this game. I cannot wait. I'm really excited to see this bot lane. I want to see how well this Zyra Ezreal does versus that notorious Taric Sivir lane with those dual aura ultimates. It is so scary when they do go for an all-in. And like we saw in the last couple of games, the Sivir Boomerang Blade just deals so much damage.
And that's why she's so strong with the Taric. Taric gets a stun down. That Boomerang Blade's 100% chance of hitting as well as an auto attack or two. And the Bounce Blade, she does such scary damage with that paired with the Taric. along with the armor and the spell shield that she has naturally. It's such a scary lane to go against. But Ezreal, if anyone can go against it, Ezreal is very, very high up on the list on it. He's got great mobility, he's got great poke. He's not a bad AD carry to go up against that lane, so really, I'm interested to see how that bot lane goes. One champion I want to talk about a little bit more is the Syndra. If she manages to lock down someone with the stun, obviously she has a massive AoE stun, which is going to help against them sieges in mid. With when the Nidalee comes, and you're going to have that, as we talked about, the 4-man stands off by the towers. Syndra, if she can get a stun and hit a few people, followed up by the Nocturne ult and the Zyra ult, and Renekton jumping in there and the Ezreal ult, people are just going to melt. I mean, Manchester definitely have ways to counter this, but it just have to see how they play as a team and how their communication is, really.
Yeah, definitely. Very interested to see how this game will go. Syndra just on 5%, and then we will be ready
Mr.
to
TD,
get into this game.
Yeah,
but yeah, Mr. TD, you are the reason that there is no UK esports scene. No, just kidding. But we should be heading into this game any second. Very interested to see how this mid lane goes. Obviously, like any Nidalee mid lane, it is going to be a skill matchup. It's going to be dependent on how often Nidalee can land those spears, and if Syndra can get that poke down with the Q. If Syndra can stay in amongst her minions and get a couple of Qs down, she may be able to get some early lane dominance.
Yeah, but as we've seen, the Nidalee on Birmingham side Rift does not have a problem landing these spears. What it's going to come down to is Mr. TD Syndra, and he plays a lot of Syndra, as I've said. We've seen him play it before, and I know that he's quite confident in himself with that Syndra, so it's going to be a really good matchup to watch in that mid lane.
Yep, definitely.
Everyone is on 100%, so we should be getting into the game soon. The other thing, as you talked about a little bit in a champion screen, is going to be how that Nocturne builds. Is he going to go for this Meteor style of play, which a lot of people have started playing now, where the jungler takes a few more of the buffs, builds a little bit more damagey to carry the game, or is he going to go for that build for the team, get a bit tankier and just go for the engage?
We'll have to see what he does go for in the end. Taking a look at his runes, I'm not sure. Oh, excuse me.
Like Syndra hasn't disconnected. She hasn't bought anything yet, and obviously teams want to rush out as fast as they can. So this pause, I'd imagine, will be because Mr. TD hasn't connected here, guys. So we'll wait and see if he reconnects here or what happens. But this gives us a little bit of time just to talk about what would happen in level 1s here. Who we think will want to go for level 1s, who we think wouldn't, and if we expect that to come out. What do you think?
Yeah, so I think it's hard to call whether either of these teams will go for level 1. I think if either of them do, then it will probably be Birmingham, because they do have that reliable Taric stun, and they also have the Shen taunt, but it looks like they are spreading out, so I don't think they're wanting to go for anything. And because of the way they are spreading out, they're blocking all of the jungle entrances, and that's going to stop Manchester going for a level 1 either, or at least Birmingham will see that Manchester are going for a level 1, so we'll have to see if anything does come of this.
Both just going to play safe here. Birmingham, as you said, I think would have the better level 1, because Elise could take the E if she wanted to. Taric's got his stun, so they definitely have the better in terms of the CC, which obviously is going to be the main thing. If we look at the builds, it's nothing really out of the ordinary. The only thing I'd want to point out is that Manchester have picked up 2 sweeping lenses rather than going for that ward. So when I see that in solo queue or duo queue and I'm with a jungler, that's usually one of 2 things. It's to either counter jungle, so they can check if there's any wards there, or to play super safe if you're going to get counter jungled or invaded, to check for wards there. So it's interesting to see if this Nocturne goes for a little bit of counter jungling. Yeah,
definitely. And I really like that pickup on Nocturne. I think it's something that isn't seen often enough, a sweeper on a jungler. I mean, you definitely see it on some Evelyns, because I mean, what Evelyn doesn't clear wards? That's like half of what Evelyn does. But I think having 2 sweepers on a team is definitely underestimated.
Put the overlay on. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Have I not put the overlay on?
We'll just quickly put that overlay on for you guys. Thanks for pointing that out in chat.
What a rookie mistake.
We are listening, so thank you for that. Just a little bit of poke trade off here. Taric's going to get his stun onto Zyra, but Siva's just going to throw a boomerang blade into Ezreal just to kind of try and trade off there. The
Civ
root will
taking
come
a
out.
a bit of a chunk there.
Ezreal taking doing a bit of damage onto the Sivir when she's rooted from Zyra actually, so I don't think they came out on top there at all.
No. So, obviously, all three lanes just going to be going for a bit of back and forth. Renekton getting a fair chunk of damage
Really
down
nice
onto the
damage
Shen,
there.
managing to get him to only 200 HP there. I don't think he'll be able to get that kill this early, but we do have a bit of an engage going down in the bot lane as well. The Zyra does have a plant out, and Taric taking quite a chunk of damage. Ezreal, Arcane shifting down to get more damage out, and looks like Manchester are getting bullied a little. Birmingham are getting bullied a little bit in the bot lane currently.
That top lane's all about level advantage in these low levels. As soon as Renekton got level 2 and Shen was level 1, he went in, got the stun down, did a lot of damage, and that's really going to hurt Shen now in this laning phase. You see now Elise is going up to try and help him out because of that. Sivir also taking a bit of poke in the bot lane, so Birmingham not off to the best start in terms of their laning phase. They are not as dominant as we saw them the first game anyway.
Yeah, but like we say, it's only 3 minutes into the game and no kills have been had yet, so cannot call anything yet. But the Shadow Dash does go down in the top lane. Shen trying to get a bit of a trade on the Renekton, but really not winning that trade, to be honest. He got a bit of damage.
The aim there was to try and get the taunt under the tower, but he didn't quite get it under the tower, so not the trade that you wanted there. Ezreal and Zyra pressuring this turret now a lot. This is very, very, a lot of pressure been put in this bot lane very early on from this Ezreal Zyra.
Yeah, definitely. And Shen going for another taunt on Renekton, trying to get that minion aggro to his advantage. He does have a massive minion wave there, so if he can get Renekton taunted in amongst those minions, could do a lot of damage. As caster minions do deal 20 damage per auto attack, which when you've got a few adds up very fast, but Renekton able to clear out those minions pretty quickly.
Yeah. And this is the lane that Caitlyn and Zyra, this is what Caitlyn and Zyra needed to do in that lane at bot. Zyra and Ezreal are just out-poking the Taric and Sivir so much now. When Taric tries to get in for the stun, they just poke him, they move back, and he takes too much damage to go in. This is how it should be played.
Yeah, and Renekton being so aggressive in this top lane. In fact, all three lanes being really, really aggressive for Manchester. And like you said in Champion Select, that is how Manchester likes to play. Syndra being really aggressive in the mid lane. Does pop down the Ignite. The heal from Nidalee is going to be diminished from that. I couldn't think of the word.
Just enough to save her there. Yeah, Syndra's actually took 2 tower shots at that. She's taken just as low. So very, very dangerous play from the Syndra there to try and pick up the kill.
Yeah,
quite nice play from the Nidalee.
Yeah, so very, very close one. Syndra trying to pick up that early kill, but not quite having the damage to finish it off. Sivir using his spell shield a little too early there, and Ezreal able to just wait that one out and manage to get that Q on her afterwards. But so we do have a gank going in the top lane. Shadow Dash does go down onto Renekton. The Ignite is down. Elise not quite able to repel quick enough, and Renekton is going to survive on the tiniest little sliver of health. He is on 90 health there. I think it was even less before that though. So
such a
very
great play
close
there.
one.
Elise didn't get the repel up fast enough, so Renekton there actually managing to get his slice and dice off twice, and then the flash for the escape. Under 50 health there from that last Ignite, so really nice play from him to get away.
Yeah, definitely. And Elise, such a good jungler. I mean, when you can get a good gank down from Elise, it is just so terrifying. I mean, the cocoon into that Shadow Dash from Shen, there was really not a lot that Renekton can do to get out of that one.
Definitely, and this Zyra Ezreal still been really annoying at the bottom lane. Sivir is forced to pop a barrier. The exhaust comes down onto Ezreal. She will get away there, but not a nice exchange for the Sivir Taric there. Sivir's actually forced a recall from this.
Yeah, 3 summoners for that bot lane. Shen does get ignited in the top lane here. Renekton going as hard as he can here. He might be able to get the kill. The flash goes down though. And Shen going to be able to get out of this one. Taric also forced to flash in the bot lane. So currently, Birmingham having no summoners in the bot lane. So we may see a kill coming up soon from Manchester in the bot lane.
This is just pressure from Manchester here. The top lane, the bot lane, and even Mr. TD in the mid lane. They're just applying so much pressure and forcing Birmingham to play a lot safer, back a little bit more. And this is how they're going to take control of the game. This is what I was talking about. They don't let their enemy dictate the pace. They dictate the pace themselves, and we do see Elise now coming into mid to try and get something happening on this Syndra.
So we'll have to see if they do get that. No mana really on either of the mid laners though, so I don't think much is going to go down there. Elise is just going to walk away, and it looks like they're going to be going for that all-important blue buff on the Nidalee so that she can just spam spears all day. I'll be interested to see if once the blue buffs do go down, Syndra does go for an engage, because obviously Syndra with a blue buff versus Nidalee with no blue buff, that is such a scary place to be for the Nidalee.
Definitely. Nocturne's hovering about in this tri-brush at bot lane here, seeing if he can get anything down, but nothing there for him, so he's just going to go back to his jungle now while Elise is just taking her wolves. So again, Birmingham are forced to play quite passive here, just to play safe, farm under their towers. Not something they probably wanted to do when they've gotten the Nidalee and they want to be applying the pressure in this game.
Yeah, definitely. But no kills have been taken yet, so while Manchester are applying a lot of pressure in this game, taking a look, they're really not. They've not gained much of a gold lead at all. Birmingham are doing really, really well to be farming under the towers. Do have an engage going down in the bot lane though. Sivir doing absolutely loads of damage with that boomerang blade, but all of the damage going down onto the support there, and Ezreal managing to get a little bit of damage down back to Sivir, but not enough really for it to be a worthwhile trade for them. So I think Sivir and Tarek winning that trade really.
Definitely. Tarek managed to get the stun. Ezreal was a little bit too far away from the Zyra to actually fully support. Zyra does get the root onto Tarek here. Takes a little bit of poke. He's just above half health now. But the problem was Ezreal was a little bit further back.
We do have a 2v2 in the top lane. Shen is getting awfully low here, but just the student may well go down playing on that Nocturne. Shen does go down for the first blood. We've got a pause in the middle of the team fight. Elise also getting very low. I don't know if she's going to be able to get that Venomous Bite. It is about to come off cooldown, so possibly be able to get the kill onto just the student. But I think... And Repel is up as well. So I don't know if she'll be able to get the kill on just the student, and possibly... We have the minions coming into lane currently, so if Elise can Venomous Bite just the student and then repel immediately, the minions might arrive in time for her to jump onto them and possibly escape, but we'll have to see what happens. In 3, 2, 1... And Nocturne flashes out and he ults back in, the repel goes down and he's not able to get the Venomous Bite. Double kill for Nocturne. Really well played by just the student there.
Really, really well played there. I'm very curious to who did that pause though, because if it wasn't at least team that did that pause, I expect them to feel a little bit bitter there. But you know, they've got not much they can do there. Does look like again Syndra's going to try and trade a little bit in this mid lane, but Nidalee with that heal just able to heal straight back up. A really nice spell shield from Sivir in the
Zyra getting really low. The ignite does go down onto... Oh no, she's just got that skin, never mind. Yeah, so Zyra and Ezreal are both fairly low in this bot lane. Birmingham starting to apply that pressure back. They're saying, look, we don't want to be pressured this whole lane. We've got Tarek Sivir lane. That is such a strong lane. We are not going to get bullied down here. And they're really starting to put that pressure back.
Definitely, and that forces the True Shot barrage out of Ezreal just to try and get some of that pressure back. They are very weak now. One thing you do not want to be against the Tarek Sivir lane is weak, because one stun and you will die. So they're just going to go into their tower now. Zyra's going to recall, and Ezreal's going to have to play very, very safe here to make sure that he doesn't get stunned, and he will go down if he does.
Yeah, definitely. Those boomerang blades doing so much damage. And Syndra starting to bully a little bit in the mid lane. I mean, Nidalee able to trade that damage back there. Every time there's less minions, Nidalee can get those spears down and really chunk. But Elise doing this dragon on her own currently. Sivir and Tarek on their way as well. And it looks like it might be a free dragon for Birmingham.
Yeah, they forced that Ezreal and Zyra to recall, and Nocturne did as well, so that was completely free for them now. In fact, they're just going to go back to lane. They're not even going to recall themselves. Really nice pickup for Birmingham here. They've still 1k behind slightly just because of the kills that Manchester have been able to get so far, but a really nice pickup for them.
Yeah, so really well played by Birmingham to sort of minimise that lead a little bit. Taking a little look at the farm so far this game. Ezreal currently 15 farm ahead of Sivir. Syndra 20 farm ahead of Nidalee. Oh, I thought Syndra was going to go hard there. Oh, if that spear had landed, that might well have been a kill, but unfortunately not quite able to land that.
That's twice now that Syndra has gone very, very deep under that tower to try and get the kill, and she hasn't actually came out with it. Yeah. She's still being very, very organised, with her placement of the balls, just to make sure she's always got one in the way for a stun. But she is going a little bit deep, not managing to pick up the kills, so playing very dangerous there because Nidalee's going to start doing damage soon.
And also, I was going to say not having a ward on the red side of the purple jungle, but actually it had just expired. So she was warded when she did dive the tower just then, so it wasn't as dangerous as we may have thought. However, it is incredibly dangerous. If Nidalee had landed that spear, it may well have been a kill, so really, really dangerous.
Definitely. One thing I really want to point out now, we saw how aggressive Renekton went early on, and still is now, just trying to get in the face of Shen. But Shen's out CSing Renekton right now, despite being forced to back early. That's a really, really good sign for Birmingham here, that he's still managing to stay aggressive in that lane. He has lost the tower there, but he's still ahead on CS, which is a positive thing.
Yeah, definitely. And Shen being so scary when he does manage to get tanky early. He does have that ultimate available. So if there is a fight going down, like there is in the jungle right now, Just the Student getting onto Elise, doing absolutely loads of damage. Don't know if Just the Student's going to be able to escape. Does manage to repel the ultimate. Really well played there. So close to going down to that Q from Nocturne, but it's not going to be enough. Relinquish now getting really low to the Renekton. Renekton possibly going to get a double kill if he goes in here.
Yeah.
Does manage to pick up the kill on Shen. I don't know if he's going to be able to finish off Elise. Does flash for it. He's not quite able to get there. Nidalee going to be able to finish off that Renekton. That is going to be a 1-for-1 in the top lane. Nidalee picking up her first kill of the game, and now breaking even again with Syndra in gold. But Syndra flashing over the wall to use her ultimate onto Elise, picking up a kill, making me eat my words. Syndra is ahead in the mid lane again.
The Syndra there. The Elise, very, very good at fading being killed, I've noticed. That's twice now she's repelled at the exact time she needed to survive. She went back in and went a little bit aggressive, but she managed to get out of there still. Really, really nice play from Elise to get that kill. But the Renekton now has got the kill. In fact, sorry, he picked up the assist, but he got Syndra the kill. Syndra and Nidalee need the kills to get very powerful in the late game. They've both picked up their first one now, so we'll see them doing a lot of damage from now on.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like we may have a bit of an engage going down in the bot lane. The Zyra ultimate does go down. True Shot Barrage also goes down, but it's not able to hit anyone. Taric is going to go down right at the start of the fight. Israel so close to escaping on so little health there, but Shen able to pick up the kill onto Zyra, and Sivir picking up that kill. Both of those kills having 2 assists as well, so definitely a win for the purple team there. Stand United is going to be used, and Renekton wasn't in lane when it's used, so Renekton not able to abuse the fact that Shen's not in lane, not able to push it out quick enough, and it looks like purple team are going to pick up a tower.
Yeah, and that's the scary thing going against the Shen top lane. You can go in like that with this Syndra, who's trying to go all in on these one-offs, and then Shen can come out of nowhere and just turn it around completely. Really
looks
nice
like we're getting dived in the mid lane. Syndra going really, really aggressive there, diving with Elise and Nidalee there. I don't think that was wise. Does end up going down.
Pushed up that lane there, actually going towards their base rather than hers to try and get away under that tower, but again, she's been quite aggressive all game, still been very, very good to pick up the kills, but a little bit too deep there. She won't escape that one.
Yeah, definitely not. And to be honest, when we first saw that engage, I did think that that was Syndra backing away into her own towers. It was in fact her diving the second tier tower of Nidalee, so very, very aggressive plays here by Syndra.
Definitely. Ezreal is quite ahead on CS at that bot lane. He has finished his Triforce now, so he's going to be quite scary with that damage. Sivir has got her Bloodthirster, which is still very, very fearful, but not quite as much damage as the Ezreal with the Triforce at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Ezreal Triforce, that is such a massive power spike when that does happen. We do have a bit of an engage going down. Taric does get caught out by Nocturne. Does get the red buff slow, gets the fear down, but I don't think they're going to be able to finish this one. Not going to be wanting to dive. Syndra trying to get that damage down with the W, but not quite able to hit that one. And Shen pushing up in this top lane while this goes down. Renekton is there to stop that push though. And Ezreal taking some tower shots there, getting really aggressive onto the Sivir, but Sivir using her ultimate. We're going to see an engage going down here. Mr. TD quite low, the boomerang blade just missing there. Zyra using her ultimate, but not able to really knock anyone up with that, and it looks like both teams are just going to disengage here, possibly.
Yeah, it looks like they both were a little bit fearful of what could happen, so both teams didn't want to really all in there, played it safe, and they ended up just walking away from that. We do see
Mr. TD there in a really bad spot.
Syndra here. Yes, Syndra will be picked up. Nocturne does burn his ultimate for that though. He will back off from that, but really nice pick up there. Syndra just a little bit caught out.
Yeah, so Nocturne was going to use his ultimate to try and save that, but he realised that all 5 of them were there. There was no way Mr. TD was going to get out of that one. And that is the second death for Syndra there this game. And that's going to just about even up the gold for these teams. So even footings right now in this game.
Yeah. I want to just point out as well, Zyra didn't start with a money item. She chose to go for wards instead. Taric is now sitting 1,000 gold ahead of her, which, you know, is largely down to that gold item that she's going to be helping them out a lot, as well as Siva on the AD carry. She's sitting at more gold than Ezreal, even though she's 30 CS behind. Again, because of the gold items, so I don't know if Zyra did that, you know, thinking she'd get more lane dominance. But the gold-wise, Birmingham are actually ahead in the bot lane.
Yeah, so really, really interesting sort of, I was going to say turn of events, not really events, but yeah, definitely. Considering the CS difference is 30 CS, it's quite surprising that she is 400 gold ahead. I mean, 10 CS is approximately equal to 1 kill, so considering Siva only has 1 more kill than Ezreal and 1 assist extra, that's about 450 gold, whereas the 30 CS is worth, I'm trying to work it out, it's probably worth about 800 gold. More. So yeah, the gold shared from Taric's thing is 425, so I was just about right with my calculation. But
so
yeah,
Taric's going to be picking up this Aegis now as well, which is going to help against that Triforce Ezreal and that Syndra as well. That's going to give him even more aura. If anyone around Taric on that team is going to be very happy, because they get a lot more defensive stats than they do normally. But that's quite a nice pickup from him. He's going to be quite tanky now.
Yeah, definitely. And like you say, he's going to make his team tanky as well. Like, obviously, his Shatter gives that armor aura, and then the Aegis as well, giving that armor and magic resist. So really, really good item to pick up.
And this is the point where we said Birmingham, exactly what we saw the last game, the 4 of them just standing in mid lane, sieging the tower, forcing Manchester now to have to react exactly the same thing. Ezreal was bot, is going to have to come up to this top lane. Renekton doesn't know whether to go mid, go back to top to deal with Shen. This is the pressure that Birmingham can bring now.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about in that pre-game lobby. And Mr. TD getting really low. The ultimate does go down on Siva though, doing absolutely loads of damage. Just a student dealing loads of damage to Rift here. Rift trying to get onto Syndra. It's not going to happen. And Taric using his ultimate onto Renekton. I don't know if that was really wise. The Ignite goes down onto Elise. Now Shen's able to pick up the kill on Syndra, and now he's in a really bad spot. I think Just the Student's going to pick up this kill. Rift is there trying to save him. I think Shen might even escape this one. The heal does go down from Nidalee, but Elise able to repel to those Wraiths. And Rift so low. Renekton finally able to pick up that kill onto Elise, and Rift able to escape that one. So even though Shen, Nidalee and Elise were all incredibly low, only one of them went down there. So really well played by Birmingham.
Shen did a really nice ult onto Nidalee when she was quite low. In fact, there's still quite some action going down here. It does look like Relinquish is taken very low. The Ignite is popped on him. He will go down to the Nocturne. So Shen is actually picked up, although this Nocturne will be cleaned up by Siva. Another 1-for-1 trade there for the jungler and the top lane. So still some action going down here. The gold is almost even. There's only a 600-700 gold difference between the two teams, but Shen got a really nice ultimate onto the Nidalee there when she was about to go down. He got such a nice taunt on Mr. TD under the tower, and finished him off on the Syndra before he could do anything in the team fight, and then managed to escape because he was so tanky. So really nice play from Birmingham there, and really well played from Manchester as well to pick up the kills.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like Birmingham possibly will get a tower here. They're definitely going to try. I don't know. Syndra does seem to have the wave clear though, so I don't think they're going to be able to get this one. Siva is actually tanking that tower, but is going to back away now. And looks like neither team really going to get an objective from this fight.
Yeah, and that AoE stun from Syndra she's just seen that hits all 3 of them. She was able to hold that tower by herself. That's the scariness of the Syndra, what I was talking about with the stuns. That's why it isn't too bad against this siege comp, because she has such chance to basically be able to get the stun down, and look at her team to follow up. She's got the Nocturne ult that can follow up. No matter where Ezreal is, he's got his ult. You've got the Renekton that can jump in there. If there's a situation where there's 4v4 mid, and she can get an AoE stun down, it's going to be a great chance for Manchester to follow her.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously that Syndra ult, like you say, so potent, but Relinquish is going to get dived here. Just a student going in. He does have that red buff ticking, but Mr. Awesome T's able to take down that tower in the bot lane, and I don't know if Relinquish is going to be able to get away from this one. Ezreal dealing loads of damage here. Does Arcane Shift in. Just a student able to pick up his 5th kill of the game. I don't know if he necessarily wanted to pick that kill up, but he is going to use his ultimate down onto Rift. Rift in a really bad situation here, does get rooted by Zyra, and Mr. Awesome T able to pick that up with the True Shot Barrage. The repel going down from Zyra, trying to pick up the kill. I mean, from Elise trying to pick up the kill on Zyra. It's not going to be quite enough. And I don't know if Elise is going to be able to get away from this one. Mr. TD does arrive now and is able to pick... Renekton, sorry, picks up the kill onto Elise. I'm not sure if I called Mr. Awesome T Mr. TD during that team fight. Quite a confusing pair of names, but the point is 2 kills in fact 3 kills for Manchester there, and it looks like they're going to be diving Taric as well. Renekton going so deep here, diving the enemy base, but they do manage to get this tower, and Dominus is down for Renekton. The Zyra ult goes up, Taric is going to go down. Nidalee trying to do what she can, but I don't know if they've got enough damage. Sivir goes down now as well. Shen might go down as well. He does go down. Trust the Student picking up his 7th kill of the game. Renekton possibly in a bad situation here. Elise arrives. Nidalee able to pick up a kill onto Renekton there. Elise did repel in, but not quite able to get that. They're so close with that Nidalee spear. Almost able to get a kill there, but Ezreal unfortunately staying a little bit too long and does go down as well. So really well played by Manchester, able to pick up an inhibitor tower there, just getting a kill after kill, just keeping on diving. Really aggressive.
Just there. That is what Birmingham does not want to do. We both agreed already that Manchester has the better 5v5 straight up team fight here, and they didn't even 5v5 engage. They got caught out. It was a 1v5 that turned into a 2v5 that then made 2 people fall back to the base weak. You then had people respawning, running in. That allowed Manchester to just pick them off one by one, get the inhib tower for free from nothing. From absolutely nothing, they got that inhib tower. They walked away weak. Ezreal went in a little bit too hard at the end, but still, for that 1 kill to get the inhib tower, great play by Manchester there. And Birmingham just a little bit caught out.
Birmingham able to pick up a dragon off the back of that. They knew Manchester would be going back, so able to get that. Just the Student trying to stop that, but unfortunately not able to get anything. Does manage to block that Elise Q with his spell shield. Renekton trying to go a bit aggressive here, but he does have to back out. He does get stunned by the Taric, but Manchester definitely looking to be aggressive right now.
Yeah, Birmingham can just step back a little bit though and just let them be aggressive, because Shen is in the top lane farming and he has got his ult up. Nocturne does engage onto here. He goes straight onto the Elise. Elise taken very low. She goes actually after the Nocturne, picks up the kill on Nocturne. Very well played there. She goes down to Zyra though. Renekton is still in the midst of this fight, trying to cause a lot of damage. Taric's very weak, but Renekton himself is taken very low. Shen does come down. He gets picked up by the Zyra as well. Zyra and Renekton both so low here. So Sivir gets cleaned up there. Sorry, Syndra still doing so much damage there. And Zyra and Syndra just managed to clean the house, and Ezreal's still here. There's still all the damage dealers up for Manchester right now inside Birmingham space.
That was so well team fought by Manchester. What an incredible flash by Renekton. Gets in, manages to get out on like 100 health and flashes to dodge a skill shot. Well played by him.
Zyra and Syndra the same as well. They all, normally it was the Elise we saw survive, but wow, they all managed to escape on literally under 100 health each. Really nicely played. Really
good team play by them to be able to spread out the enemy team's damage amongst them like that. And Renekton, in the meantime, while he did get low, he decided not to go back. He went and got a tower in the bot lane. So really well played by him to sort of think tactically like that and go for another objective while all that's going on.
Definitely. And this is where Birmingham need to make something happen. They are now 4k gold behind almost. They have the Shen, which has been quite effective this game, but they need to start doing something now. They need to start forcing these towers. They're 4 towers behind. They need to start doing something to catch up on this gold lead that Manchester have.
The issue that Birmingham are having right now is their siege comp. Oh, Taric is going to go down to the Ezreal there. Really well played by him. But the issue that Birmingham are having right now is they have a siege comp which relies on the enemy not being able to fully engage. But the thing is, Manchester are definitely not afraid to just go completely all in and go for that 5v5 engage. They're not afraid to go for this fight. They're quite happy to say, look, Shen can split push top all he wants, because if he's up top, then we're going to take your inhibitor, we're going to take your Nexus. And Mr. Awesome T getting really low, does get taken down by the Elise, and the Zyra ult managing to get the knock up on Shen. It's not quite going to be able to get the others, but Shen getting really low. In fact, all players getting quite low here. Rift throwing out these spears. I don't know if he's going to be able to pick up a kill. That is just going to be a 1 for 0.
Manchester, I feel, could have done a bit more there, but they focused this Shen, and he is so tanky. You saw how low he went there, but you also saw how much it took for him to get that low. They fired everything at him, and if you look at his items, he's got the Spirit Visage, he's got the Sunfire Cape, his Merc Treads. He looks like he's got the Giant's Belt, probably building towards that Randowins at the moment, but he's so tanky right now. So I feel they could have picked up a bit more, but really nice play from Birmingham, and stop the amount of kills they could get. And now is when Shen's ult is up. They need to start forcing and taking advantage of the fact they have this Shen that can split push. They're still 4 towers behind. They need to be applying the pressure.
Yeah, definitely. And the gold is so close, but it doesn't feel like it is. I've got to be honest, in this game, Manchester feels like they're further ahead than they actually are, which is something that you only see really good teams do. You see it occasionally with teams like Fnatic. They'll not actually be that ahead in gold, but the way they play as a team, the way they rotate around the map and force objectives, it makes it feel like they're really far ahead in the game. Definitely. And it makes the enemy team not want to engage.
Definitely. Another thing I find really interesting, look at that Ezreal Sivir. Ezreal's out CSing her, is ahead on kills, is ahead on assists. Sivir's still ahead on gold because of that gold item from Taric.
Yeah, it's such a potent item. And even though it's been recently nerfed, it's still a really strong item. I don't think it's ever worth going duo in a lane anymore with it, but it's still a really strong item.
Definitely, and this dragon is going to be coming up in 1 minute 15. It does look like both teams are trying to get pressure on the map to secure this. Dragon now scaling into the late game on this patch, giving more gold the later the game goes on. It means it's still valuable at this late stage of the game. Before, it wasn't really that big a help, but now a dragon can still, especially when the gold lead isn't immense, turn this game around and help a team out a lot, or extend the gold lead even more. So still a very contested objective for both teams.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, like you say, the gold's scaling up, so later in the game it does end up actually being more valuable than Baron because of the increased gold value of it. So in the latest, I don't think it would be more valuable at this stage. However, in the late game, in the very late game, like 45-50 minutes, it does actually end up giving each of your team over 300 gold. So really valuable objective now.
And if we look at the ward control, though, it looks like both teams are still very aware of that Baron, especially at the half an hour marks. There is still a lot of vision around that area. Manchester now free to apply the pressure onto Birmingham's base. This is where the Nidalee comes in, though. They can't go in too far, or this Nidalee will get a lot of spears down. She actually hit one off Mr. TD there, and he's already at half health from that. So very strong poke coming in, and this is what Birmingham need. A few more spears, and they may be able to fight. They do actually try and go in here. Shen's taunt doesn't actually land where he wants it to. Nocturne does all onto the Shen, but Shen is so tanky. Nocturne has to run away from that. Taric will go down, and look at Syndra's damage there on that Elise. She just got melted. Sivir's bit caught out here. 2v1 against the Ezreal Zyra. She's doing so much damage, actually. She won't be able to take out the Ezreal, though. She will get took down, and Syndra will just clean up the Shen. But that 2v1 with the Syndra there, she actually took Ezreal and Zyra to such low health.
Yeah, so really well played by Sivir. Really good team fight. It feels like it was a good team fight for Birmingham. However, it was a 2 for 4.
4 for 2, yeah.
All 3 of the remaining members of Manchester do escape on such little health. Nidalee was still on full HP at the end of that fight, but obviously not going to be able to 1v3, so no objectives taken from that fight, but Manchester do increase that gold lead ever so slightly.
And Dragon is live now. In fact, Syndra's going to get a stun onto Nidalee and get a little bit of poke onto her, but Nidalee is a very slippery champion. She will just heal and run away. The Sivir needs to stay alive in these team fights for Birmingham. She does so much damage.
Oh, Mr. TD getting caught out. The cocoon does land. I don't know how he managed to arcane shift during that cocoon, but he does manage to pick up the kill onto Taric.
That was so deep from that Taric there. He only had 2 people to back him up on that, and him dying there has allowed Manchester now to take this dragon quite easily.
Yeah, and one thing I just noticed, when Syndra caught out Nidalee with that stun, she had her ultimate available. I think she could have killed Nidalee. I'm not sure why she didn't go for that. I feel like that was a kill potential for Mr. TD there, but for some reason decided not to go for that one. But it looks like may have an engage. The Cocoon does unfortunately miss. Just the Student able to protect himself from that Boomerang Blade with his Spell Shield. But Manchester possibly going to be able to take this inhibitor, and I'm not sure if there's much Birmingham can do about it. They may be looking to go for the engage, but they are 7,000 gold behind right now, so I don't know if it's an engage they necessarily want to go for.
Definitely still very difficult for them, and this isn't the position that Birmingham want to be in. This Shen has to be there for the fights. He's not free to push. Manchester are in complete control of this game. They're dictating the pace, they're dictating where the fights are happening and how. And Birmingham, as we spoke about before the game, they can't let this happen, especially with a comp like this. They need to be the ones dictating the pace. When they're this far behind, they really need to find some picks or some pressure somewhere, because if not, Manchester are just going to keep getting objectives, keep getting small gold leads, and then eventually will build into a much bigger one, and they will have no chance of getting back into this game.
Yeah, definitely. And this game is just gradually, slowly but surely, heading in the favour of Manchester. And it was so close right at the start of this game. Manchester really, sort of like you said at the start, dictating the pace of the game. They were able to sort of say at the start, we're going to be really aggressive and we are going to win these lane phases, and from that they've been able to sort of snowball this game in their favour.
Definitely, and it's quite clear obviously that they came in with a plan in which lanes they wanted to pressure. They pressured that mid a lot. That Nidlee's 3, 2 and 5, she has got a massive amount of kills. That Syndra was always going quite deep on that Nidlee, stopping her getting the kills. Nocturne is 7, 3 and 7. He's got a lot of kills this game. He hasn't gone pure damage though, which is good. He's built that tankiness. He still does a lot of damage, but he has built that tanky way for the engages, and that is why he can dive in on the Shen and champions that he has been. Although this Shen is also very tanky now with his Randuin's finished up, and it looks like we may see an engage happen in the middle.
Yeah, Rift getting caught out there. The Syndra ultimate does go down, but the Ezreal managing to finish her off with a crit, and just the Student is going to use his ultimate to go in there. Renekton's coming in as well, does use his ultimate. True Shot Barrage comes in all the way across the team. It's looking really bad for Birmingham in this fight. Manchester picking up another 2 kills, and there's only Shen and Sivir remaining. Renekton diving them both here. I don't know if that was wise. I don't think he can 2v1 right now. Mr. TD going in as well, tanking the Nexus tower. Mr. TD getting really low as well as Quarren. Shen using his Stand United there. And Renekton managing to get the stun actually. Blocking that, and Sivir goes down as well. That is an ace for Manchester. They're going to take a second inhibitor off that.
Yeah, a little bit greedy from Manchester, but it paid off in the end. I don't think Birmingham expected it, as they didn't know how to react. Hence you saw the Shen ultimate in front of them and that. But this, they will be able to clean up off this, I assume.
This may be the end of the game.
They will be able to end the game off this, and that'll be the first game going to Manchester in this final. Best of 3, that means the next game Birmingham will have to win to stay in the tournament. If not, Manchester will be the winners, but we do see them topping this game here and coming out 1-0 ahead.
Yeah, so really well played to Manchester. We're just going to quickly cut to some music for 10 minutes while we set up the next game. And yeah, we will see you for game 2 in just 10. Oh, before we go, tell us in the Twitch chat who you think the MVP of that game was. Let me just change it so you can actually see the scoreboard.
Yeah, it would be good to hear your guys' opinions. Obviously, what players you like the best, who you thought had the most impact in that game. So let us all know. And we will be back in a few minutes as soon as the players have had a little break with Game 2 that Birmingham need to win to stay in this tournament, or that Manchester will win and win this tournament.
Yeah, so we'll see